be conducting the makeup class. But I want to introduce myself, Norma Blaque. I'm owner of Norma Blaque Studios. We'll get that up right now. And we're excited to announce that we're launching Norma Blaque Academy. So we're going to be teaching, and that's what we've been doing to practice and get things going, setting it all up. And yeah, today is makeup. So let me see. We got Libby. Come on over.
Okay, I'll introduce myself again. My name is Libby. I've been doing makeup for 13 years now. I just recently really got into it. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the makeup industry has really been blowing up. Everybody's been making their own cosmetic lines and, creating their own stuff. So I'm really interested in doing that now. I got taught by, I was an apprentice. I started as an apprentice. I didn't go to school at the time. I was only 16 years old. I'm 30 now. So that's how I got started, and it's something that I didn't know that I loved at the time. I didn't know I was an artist. I didn't know. I just kind of did it for fun because my mom was a cosmetologist. And then, so I just continued from there, and then I doing on my own because the lady I was being an apprentice for, she really believed in me, and she gave me confidence to go out there on my own. So that's what I did. I started working for photographers on my own. And then just with what she taught me, and then I wanted to work for MAC Cosmetics. That was like my goal. I was like, oh my God, that's like the best company ever. So I wanted to work for them. I didn't know how to get started. So all I did is I worked on my portfolio, pictures just on myself and my friends and all that stuff. And I went to go apply, and unfortunately it wasn't enough at the time. They rejected me, and I was like, what do I have to do? I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was like, whatever. So I kind of stopped for a while, and then I figured, I wanted a paper to kind of say like, that I know my stuff, I know what I'm doing and stuff. So since I already knew makeup, I didn't really want to go to makeup school. I felt like it was going to be a waste for me. So I went to to do aesthetics, so skincare and all of that. So I got my license for that. And sure enough, I went to them again with my aesthetics license and with the work that I had created in between that time. And I finally got hired by MAC Cosmetics, so I've been working for them for 6 years now, and I'm on and off. I freelance for them. I worked in all the stores here in the LA area. I've also taught there doing, they're called Artist Express. So when I started doing those, I was really happy, and I was excited about teaching what I know, the knowledge that I have with time that I've learned. So that's how I started learning that I wanted to teach. So then after a while, I found another job because I wanted to make more money. I have kids as well, like Norma. So I have to make money, So I started looking in other places to see if I can, pursue that. And I found this store that was just going to barely open. I knew the owner through a friend, and she hired me as a makeup artist for her store. And it's just cosmetic. It's kind of like Nigel's and Namie's, that type of store, but really small and like for low-end makeup, And so that's how I started, my career as the teacher. And then from there, I met Norma. Where is she? She's like a godsend. She believes in me, and that's what I love the most. She mentors me in a lot of ways and everything. So right before I met Norma, I did a really big class of 15 people that I did on my own with a photographer. I got sponsors through the Cosmetic Land store. So that was really fun for me, and it was a really great experience. I still get a little bit nervous in the beginning when I first start teaching the class, but eventually it goes away. So yeah, and Norma, me and her talked about doing a academy and starting an academy, and I was like all about it. I love teaching. What good is it to know the knowledge that you have and not be able to pass it on to people? It's really fun what I do. I love my job. It's really amazing. You get to meet a bunch of different people, learn different things, and yeah. So now we're gonna start this academy. So I really hope that some of you guys like the demo, and maybe all of you guys, and you guys can further your education in cosmetics. It's really fun, whether you do retail, whether you're just wanting to work with celebrities, or just wanting to do makeup. You could do bridal makeup. Those are really fun to do, like the whole court. Like just on Saturday we did a bridal group, and we did the mom, the bride, and they're so happy. It's really awesome to be part of that amazing moment for them. So you get a bunch of like really cool experiences, and honestly, I think this career is the best. It's just you get so much out of it. So if you guys want to further your education in cosmetics, feel free to sign up. We're signing people up today. So like I said before, I'm going to do a little demo on her on skin. You guys said you guys wanted to learn skin, right? And then eyebrows. She has great eyebrows already, so perfect. So for skin, I would say definitely skin is the main thing that will help you to have like a great result if you start off the skin really well. You obviously have to ask questions, and I will teach you guys more about that in the actual academy that we're gonna have. I'm gonna go in depth into like why, who, what, where, and why, all that stuff. But for now, she said that she has normal skin, right? You're not oily. You don't get oil around the T-zone. So those are all good things to know, because that way you know what to apply on them. Sometimes you have to combine products. You have to use something for the oily sections and then some for the, for more matte sections. The foundation will always look best on a well-prepped skin. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. Do you have anything on right now?
I just have concealer as well.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take that off. I'm just going to use these amazing face wipes that take off makeup. These are my favorite. I'll teach you guys about that too, like how to pick your product. Like all of the products are really good. It's just a matter of learning on what type of skin to use it. There's a lot of low-end products, and then there's high-end products. Some work, even if they're like $1, they'll still work really well if you know on what skin to use it. This is my favorite though. It takes off, waterproof makeup. Yeah, they take off everything. Your skin feels super moisturized. They're not oily at all or anything. It dries up. So on her skin, she already took off her makeup. I'm going to spray her with this. This is a setting spray. You can use it either or. I'll teach you guys about this stuff too. This is the setting spray, like I said, and it acts as a glue on the skin. So think about it like little hands. They're going to grab onto the foundation, the powders, and all of that. And it also helps to make the foundation and the powders become one with the skin. So you're not going to look like somebody threw powder on your face. You know how sometimes it looks like that? Also, when you get the flash of like if you're going to take pictures or video, it works really well for that too, so you don't get flashback. And it also has vitamins and minerals that are really good for the skin. It has calming agents in it, like, chamomile. It has cucumber, stuff like that. So sometimes if the skin gets irritated, like if you have acne, rosacea, stuff like that, it helps to calm it down so you don't get so much redness and you don't have to correct as much. Okay? If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and apply it with, I put it at the back of my hand. This is a primer / moisturizer. And this one I'm going to apply it with a dual fiber brush. That means that it has 2 different fibers in it. It's real hair and synthetic hair. So the synthetic helps to pick up and deposit product. And the real hair is going to help to blend it out. And the reason why that I like that is because since it has the synthetic hair, it's not going to absorb your product as much. That means you're saving product. And when you're a makeup artist, trust me, you want to save your product. Because it takes a lot to replenish your kit. You don't have to do that all the time. The makeup could get really expensive.
How many makeup artists in here? Yeah. Are you guys already working or doing makeup?
I'm actually going to be talking about that in the class, about how to learn how to choose what way you want to go in your career as a makeup artist. There's different things you could do. You could go to retail, which is really fun. I love that. And then you could do, if you want to do movie sets, if you want to do celebs and stuff, we can teach you how to do that and pursue that, because you don't want to do everything at once, because then you're not gonna make you're not gonna be your best at everything. You know, you have to focus on one thing.
There's photo shoots, there's bridal,
Yes,
or
bridal.
salon work. Yeah. FX.
Just really quick, she has no acne. She has no pigmentation. So for her, usually I would use just a BB cream, depending on what occasion it's for. Like if it's, obviously if it's her wedding, I'm gonna use something a little bit heavier so you can tell that she's done up. But if it's just like like a mom, a mom or somebody that's just gonna go home that just wants to look pretty, sometimes that happens if you're in retail. There's people that just wanna go to the counter and get done up. They just want to look pretty if they're going to have dinner with their husband or they're going to have, some event going on, but they want to look natural. You would just go with the BB cream and then just spot correct if she has a little bit of acne or redness. That's what you want to do. So here I just mixed a BB cream with a matte foundation that's a full coverage. And I mix two colors because I don't have her color. So usually that's what you do. You improvise, you adapt, and you overcome. That's like my motto. I always see it like that. Because sometimes you might, if you go do a wedding and there's a bunch of different people, they're going to have different skin tones. And it's going to happen where there's somebody that has a really, really red face. If they're really light, usually they have a lot of redness. And you have to mix and match, if they have a yellow undertone, all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to teach in the class too, on how to mix and match all the foundations. That's what I learned at MAC Cosmetics. Now I'm a mixologist there. So it's really fun to be able to customize people's foundations. Sometimes they'll buy like 3 different foundations. They just want the perfect color, who wants to look, different. And I'm going to add a little bit on her eye just so it doesn't look different. So as you guys can see, she pretty much looks the same. I only did this side so you guys can see the difference. So if you want to turn that way, turn this way so they can see. Any questions so far? You're good? Okay. See, and on this side, she has a little bit of redness here. So what I always advise my coworkers or just people that have questions or students, when that happens, you see it's not really bad, so you don't want to go with a concealer or a corrector, because to cancel out the red, you need the green. So sometimes because I don't want to do too much on their face, what I'll do is I'll cover it first with the foundation or the BB cream, and then if that doesn't get covered, I'll do the corrector on top of it, or a concealer if I have to, right? So, because sometimes it's, it goes away with the foundation. We used to get that a lot at the counter when I work at MAC. I don't want to look cakey. Like, I always hear people going in there and saying that. So I always keep that in mind. I know people want to look beautiful, but without feeling like they're wearing so much. They don't want to walk around looking like they're like me. I have like everything on my face. So a lot of people, they're just like, they have regular jobs. They don't want to be looking, too much. And they'll also tell you like, my husband doesn't like to see me with makeup. Just make it look natural. I want to look beautiful. So we don't want to get the husband mad. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but I used the same brush. So you could do that too, since it already has product in there. It helps to blend everything in. The primer that I used on her does not dry. It's a moisturizing primer. There's primers that are matte, and those primers, you want to use a different brush because sometimes it'll ball up. Usually because it dries, you don't want to put anything on top of it. I don't know if you guys seen that happen. It'll ball up. And you also don't want to use a real hairbrush with liquid. You want to use a synthetic brush because that will ball up as well, and it's going to ruin your brush and it's going to ruin your work.
Question?
Sure.
What do you use for contouring? Do you use the powder? Do you use
Oh, I prefer powder personally, but if you want to use a cream, you can do that too, and for that you would use a synthetic brush because it's a cream.
Okay, so it's personal preference.
Yeah, personal preference. You can even use both if you want to go hard, you know, Kim Kardashian style. We get a lot of those clients at Northridge Mall. There's a lot of people that want that look. Translucent powder? Oh, question?
And do you normally put makeup after the hair or before the hair is done?
That's actually a preference for the artist, but honestly, for me, just because I know that she's gonna get makeup on the rim of her scalp or of her hair, I prefer that you do the hair after. Also, you know, sometimes a lot of artists don't like for them to do the makeup before because they're gonna be spraying, you know, hairspray on them. So sometimes it'll get on the face and it'll get patchy because it has different. The formula from hairspray is way different than a setting spray. You know, this will dry, it will absorb, and the hairspray doesn't. So sometimes even in the picture it'll come out or it'll darken up the foundation or the powder. Sometimes if they have really dry skin, the hairspray will make her skin crack. So you have to be really careful. You could tell the hairdresser, like, just be careful. They actually sell some visors I saw online that you could put them on and it'll help to protect the skin. So it just depends. I prefer hair after. So here I'm just using translucent powder. Again, she has really nice skin. So I'm not gonna use a powder that has color in it. This is just translucent, it has no color. So I'm gonna pat that on first and then just blend it. This brush is real hair. Like I said, you want to use real hair brush for powders. Synthetic does not deposit. And actually, I just learned recently, that's another thing, you'll never stop learning. As product comes out, formulas change, you know, all of that. So you're gonna learn different things. I recently learned that depending on how the hair is cut on the brush, it could be synthetic and you could still use it for powder. Just depends on how the hair's cut. And I'll also be teaching you how to correct. Like, let's say you messed up, because that happens. Oh, question?
Okay. When a customer has like an open wound or a cut, and does the makeup artist usually tell the customer you can't do your makeup because of the open wound, or?
Yeah, don't touch the face. You don't want a lawsuit or like getting in trouble. Usually we don't do that. Or if they're really sick, if they have like I had a girl that I had to do makeup on her, and when she showed up, she was fine, and then all of a sudden she started with her allergies, and she started crying and crying, and she would not stop crying, and she felt so bad because it was her 21st birthday, so she had to go out to her party, you know, and I tried my best to do her makeup as best as I could, and it just wouldn't stay on her eyes, and I just had to tell her, I'm sorry, I can't do your makeup, you know, it happens, you know, but you have to. Because I don't want them going around with messed up makeup and like, oh yeah, this girl did it. Her name is Libby. I always tell my clients, if you love it, tell them. If not, don't mention who did it. Okay, so I was telling you guys about correcting your mistakes. So sometimes you know how you already did the foundation and you already put the powder on, and then you notice. Did you have a question?
No.
Oh, and then you notice that she still has a little bit of redness, like here on this side. Turn that way. You could still see the redness here, and that will come out in pictures for sure. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of concealer. Turn that way.
Do you have a preferred brush brand?
No, not really. Who asked that?
It was you.
Okay, that's just so I could look at you. No, I don't really have a preferred one. Like I said, there's really cheap brushes that you could get at the 99-cent store, and they work perfect. And then there's also brushes, the ones that are for foundations and powders, I do prefer to pick that are more high-end, just because I don't want the hair to be falling on her face. And usually when they're cheaper brands, the hair is not handmade. they're more, I'm not the hair, the manufacturing is not handmade. It's with, manufacturing, it's through a machine. So then it's not holding onto the hair correctly, and when I'm doing her face, all the hair will fall on her. It will be stuck there, and I have to be going like this, like that, and I might do something, and mess up my work. So I'm just gonna let that sit for a little bit while I get another brush. So I'm just gonna get something I can blend.
If you put concealer on one side, is it necessary to put it on the other side, even though the other side may not initially have that redness?
No, you don't have to put it on the other side, just because on this side is where she has the redness, and on the other side she doesn't. So you don't have to necessarily do it on the other side. What you can do to you see how you could see the concealer here? You could just go with the colored powder and do it on top, or you could go in again with the foundation, the liquid foundation. But since I already did powder on her, I don't want to go in with the foundation, so I'm just gonna go with the powder that has color and to put it on top. Okay? Did that answer your question?
You have about an hour. We want questions, guys. Any questions? Yes.
Do you allow walk-in products, like if a certain customer wants, this specific eyeshadow on the eye, or specific product they would want?
Like a color or a brand?
Color or brand, just so.
So if a client asks for a specific color or brand, do we accommodate to that?
Yeah.
For you?
In retail, you mean? Like if somebody wants.
They can bring it in and you'll use what they
Oh,
bring in.
Oh, you can do that, but you have to let them know that if they get a reaction on their skin, it's not under your responsibility. That's the only thing, because if you're at a counter, you can't do that. They can't bring lashes, they can't bring anything from the outside. It has to be used, whatever we have there. Just because, sometimes they can get a reaction to the product that they brought in, and then it's going to be on us, and you don't want that. And on the company, and the company doesn't want that. They make it really like, don't use anything, like no lashes, glue, nothing.
What brand of colored powder was that?
This one was L'Oreal, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, the True Match. I love that powder. It's so good. It's really good for people that have acne because it's moisturizing.
How and when do you clean your brushes? Because I noticed like you put them all back in, like you just take them all and wash them all when you're done.
Well, I like to wash them once a week, deep clean, and then as I'm working, obviously sometimes I have to use the same brushes, so I have to get which I will talk about that in the class, how to pick a good cleanser for your brushes that will dry and that will sanitize. So you want to make sure you have a brush cleaner that's sanitizing and then cleaning really well. So yeah. What else?
We have another question right
Yes.
What if a customer, because I've seen it for very, very rarely, what if a customer is allergic to a specific ingredient in a product, but she or he doesn't know, and she has allergies? Do they have the right to do a complaint, or?
Of
or
course,
that's not-
everybody has a right to complain. They can write a note to whatever brand that you're working at, but I recommend that in the beginning of your consultation or whatever it is, if you're gonna do a makeup, if you're on your own, it's different. Like if you're gonna go to somebody's house, you obviously ask them the same questions, but when you're in retail, you have to make sure you ask, are you allergic to anything? And then if they say no or they don't know, some people are allergic to latex and they don't know. So what you do is you always want to test it on them, on their arm, or even on the side of their face. You can try checking there, and if nothing happens within 10 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm not sure. If there's no reaction, that means that she's not allergic. So there's some people that come back and they'll tell you, oh, I was allergic to this, look at my face, it happened the day after, you're like, no. It has to happen within 10, 20 minutes, I think. And then that's when you know they're allergic to
Before
something.
you get to the next one.
Oh,
So these specific sets are for just her.
and then for the palettes, are you spraying alcohol in them, or how do you clean those?
For the
Or
what?
powders?
Yeah, for
Your
the powders
eyeshadows.
and stuff.
Well, these eyeshadows, you have to clean the surface of them before you use them.
How do you clean
And
them?
that's it. With the, just to take off the top with the tissue.
With tissue?
You could even use alcohol as well beforehand. Don't spray it directly on the product. You want to spray the towel and then wipe it down.
Okay.
If you're working in retail, they'll tell you to do that too before
Okay.
using anybody. These powders, this is why I like them so much because they're loose powders and you just flip it over and it gives you a whole new set of powder and you don't have to touch the rest of it. So if you see my kits, I have mostly loose powders. And a lot of the time, the formula is exactly the same as pressed powder. It's just a little bit more messy. So for at home, I wouldn't recommend that to a client. I would tell them, and I'll teach you guys about that too at the class, like different types of powders, what they're used for, what's more convenient for you and your kit, what's faster, all that stuff. And this process will be a lot faster if it wasn't a demo or a class. It'll take you like literally 5-10 minutes. So I'm applying this concealer underneath. It's a really lightweight one. This is I'll teach you guys about that too and the consistency of concealers that there are and what would be good for the skin depending if they're dry or oily. There's a lot of people that are really dry under here, only there. They're really oily sometimes on their lids, so they'll crease, little things like that you wouldn't think, if you didn't know. They don't even know sometimes. They don't know what they need, what they want. They expect you to know, which is, you're the professional, so you should know what to do to fix their face, pretty much. So the one I'm using now is pretty much a neutral one. You could use it for dry skin, for oily skin, or, whatever you want. This one I wouldn't recommend for you to use anything heavy underneath the eyes because, we have a lot of line of expression there. Here in the crease as well, where your lid opens and closes. So, did you have a question?
Yeah.
You'll get clients that'll come in or brides that want you to darken up their makeup. They'll even hire you a whole day, which I love those days when they hire you for a whole day. You do their makeup in the morning, in the midday, and then at night again, and then you'll touch up as well. Those are fun because you could be really creative and do whatever you want.
These brides.
Now I'm doing a little bit of blush. For her skin tone, I picked the peachy tone with no shine. They have some that have shine. As you can see, I went a little bit heavy, and the reason why I wanted to tell you guys that I will teach you guys that too when you have a client that's going to be in photography and some type of picture or video. I'm going to teach you guys how hard to go pretty much, like how heavy the makeup needs to be or where you need to go lighter or darker, whatever, for shadowing, how to blend, because, you don't only blend the eyes, you also have to blend the blush, you have to blend the contouring, whether you cream, powder, all that stuff. Okay. And you guys, in school, I went to school for skincare, so I know what you guys are going through right now. Like everything, stay bored and super, like that. But in the outside world, it's really different. You pretty much make your own rules as long as you're protecting yourself as an artist when it comes to sanitation. And you're protecting your client from nothing happening to her. Don't touch your eye. Don't, try to go in there and take something off with your, fingers or anything like that. Make sure you wash your hands. Pretty much basic things that are common sense. Pretty much anything that you wouldn't want somebody to do to you that you don't know that you wouldn't want them to do to you, don't do it to them. So, for right now, it's really like, hey, don't do this, clean this, clean that. But you'll see eventually, Any questions so far? Oh, so I was telling you guys, I went hard on this side. I put a lot more blush here. And the way you correct that is that you would just go in with more powder. just blend it out and try to make it, because you'll see your work. Usually you want to have a mirror in front of you even when you're working somewhere. The mirror, when you're looking at the face, you could see where you need more, where you need less. The mirror is going to be your best friend. Like, to look at it, you tell her turn to the side, turn that way, you could see lines, everything. The mirror will show you where you need to go back. Christian?
Some people do eyes first because of the fallout. Is there a reason why you didn't?
Yeah. Well, the reason why I didn't is because I'm teaching mainly skin, and you guys wanted to learn eyebrows. So, we're not doing anything really on the eyes. So that's the only reason why I didn't do that. A lot of the times, it just depends on what you're doing, what colors you're using. But you're right. A lot of people, when I'm at the doing retail, I usually like to start on the eyes just because that's what takes me the longest. I'm actually really good about fallout myself, and I don't get a lot of fallout unless I'm doing black. Then I probably won't do the eyes first. It just depends on your preference or how you like to work. There's a lot more room for messiness and not to be so perfect at everything when you're doing the eyes first, definitely. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you can do that and then just wipe everything off with the cleansing wipes. And if not, you could do like me and just do her skin first. And then one way to prevent, which I will teach in the class, is putting a lot of a lot of translucent powder underneath. So any fallout, you just go ahead and take it off. Did anybody have a question? Yes.
Do you usually, when you have a customer, do you usually do the full face makeup, or do some customers only ask, like, oh, I just want my eyebrows done, I just want my eyes done?
Usually, it just depends where you work. Because at the MAC counter, the only way that you could do that, not the only way, but regardless, you're going to get charged the same thing. So if you want just your eyes, you're still going to get charged the same price. So it just depends where you work. I know Chanel does just eyes. There's different counters that work different ways, so it just depends. When you work for a cosmetic brand, which I will teach you guys, how usually they tell you how they work specifically, like what they like to be known for, or what you need to focus on more. Sometimes it's lingo, so it's just a matter of how that brand works. Mm-hmm.
When you were an apprentice, were you an apprentice at a salon or at
no, she was a professional makeup artist for photography. So those glamour shots, the cheesy ones with like the fur right here, toda la cosa, like that. Those. She was doing makeup for that, and we would go with different photographers, and I would take the train. It was really hard. I was 16 and taking the train by myself at the Union Station. Mm-hmm. My mom would drop me off right there. Yeah, and then she would just pick me up wherever, Montebello, everywhere. I went everywhere with her. It was really fun. So yeah. I'm also going to be teaching in the class how to touch the face pretty much, because that is going to help a lot with a customer coming back. A lot. The way you touch them, the way that you speak to them, all of that stuff. So that's something really that you have to focus on how to treat your customers so that they could come back. You want that. There's some of my customers that I'm very proud to say that they follow me anywhere I go. Whether it's at a salon with Norma, whether it's another cosmetic store, they call me to their house. If they're going out, just recently, one of them hired me to go to Vegas, and she paid for everything for me to go over there. So sometimes you could be doing a really simple makeup like this, and that will get you for your customer to love you just because of how you talk to them, how you touch them, all that stuff, how you are, your cleanliness, all that stuff.
That's a good topic. Do you guys know how much you can make being a makeup artist? Mm-hmm. Approximately? Mm-hmm. So entry level, like if you go to a salon, you're licensed, they'll probably get a commission depending on what you negotiate with. But who's interested in like industry stuff? Celebrities? Anybody? Like that's where the money is, right? You could make a lot of money in a salon, honestly. Since I've opened my studio, I've had to lessen my industry work because now that I own it and I have more clients behind the chair, I do more hair than I do makeup. We also do photography in my studio. We have a photography studio. I don't do as much makeup anymore because I love hair a little bit more, but I make way more money behind the chair than what I used to make doing celebrities. But you can make, if you have the A-listers, a lot of my friends are doing the big ones, $30,000 for one makeup application.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? I was like, what? But you can, like, a daily rate for average D's and E's, celebrities, not A-listers. You can get probably a good $800 a day, $1,500 for a decent job, a campaign or a photo shoot that they're doing for the TV show. But, like, entry level, yeah. From minimum wage to a good, I would say $30,000 a year. So that's not bad. I mean, for just makeup, right? Hair, you make a little bit more, but it's a good career. Any questions on that, career-wise, versus like industry stuff?
When in this video, when you have newcomers, do you try to like get the newcomers to go on the path of getting used to the A-listers or?
You mean when I hire, how do you grow? Well, it depends. When I interview them, before I even hire them, I find out what motivates them and which direction they want to take their career so that I know how to nurture that. I have a few that prefer salon. There's a few that prefer brides or whatnot, but there's, a couple of them that do want industry work. So anytime we have a photo shoot or a location job, then I make sure to bring them along and educate them on that, how to prepare your kit, how there's etiquette on how you talk on set, when to step in, when not to, how to dress, what to carry on you versus putting things down. Lots of stuff to learn on just that. So it just depends on where they want to take it, and I guide them in that direction.
So now obviously if you do her face, you have to do her lips, even if she doesn't want anything, if she tells you like, I know I'm gonna eat or whatever. You still have to convince her to put it on. Unless you're going to be there for a while doing someone else, be like, okay, go ahead and eat and come back when you're done and I'll do your lip. Because it looks like you didn't finish your work. And then that's something that somebody will judge. Whoever's around, their family, whatever. Even they might even do it, even though they said it that, I didn't say anything and she didn't do it. People are like that. So you always have to prepare for the worst. And just make sure you cover your butt, And so now I'm just going to do it. It's really natural. I'm lining her lips. I prefer, and honestly, I recommend all the time, even if you're not using, even if you're using a liquid lipstick, those are really dry. So even if you're doing that, I always recommend that you line the lip. That will help you to stay inside the lip. And also to reassure that it's a clean lip, that it'll look super nice and, sharp. Especially if you're doing red or purple or something that's really out there. So now for the eyebrows, that's the face. Ta-da. So if you guys don't have any questions about that, I'm going to do her
Final foundation questions?
Obviously, this was she has perfect skin. Congratulations. No, it's because I have a lot of acne scars, so when I see people with really nice skin, I'm like, oh, you're so pretty. So yeah, but for obviously if you have acne or redness, rosacea, like I said, or eczema, it's obviously super more complicated, and you have to be more careful what you use. It might take you a little bit longer. Sometimes the skin might even take you longer than the eyes, so just be aware that might happen too. You had a question?
Yeah, you said you always have to do the lips, or you personally. But what if someone has a cold sore,
Don't touch their face. Like, don't.
Anything that's broken, open.
Any open wound, yes, don't touch
Even if
it.
it's like a pimple, like someone popped a
If
pimple.
it's not open, it's okay.
Yeah.
What I usually do is I do the full face. I just stay away from that area and I let them know.
Yeah.
I just stay away from that area because you don't want a lawsuit. You don't want it to get bigger and worse, and just stay away.
Even, if they tell you, like, why not, I'm paying you, or I'll pay you extra, or because, you'll get clients like that. Just say, I'm so sorry, like, whatever you need to say to just tell them no, because you don't want that, it's something you have to worry about.
It's not healthy.
It's not healthy for anybody. Yeah. So, yeah. So, for eyebrows, she has beautiful eyebrows and lashes. Look at her with her extensions.
I need to get her filled.
They're nice. So yeah, for her eyebrows, she already pretty much has them shaped. She has pretty thick hair. I get a lot of clients that come in, they have no hair. You have to reshape them. It's a consultation for eyebrows, just even my clients that I'm going to their house and I'm doing their whole face. They're like, oh, my eyebrows, I don't like them. And you'll probably take the whole hour just on her eyebrows just because they're so picky. Or, you'll get little, things like that'll, make it complicated. But for the most part, I personally love eyebrows. That's what I love the most about when I was doing aesthetics. They teach you how to wax. So that was like, I had a line of students waiting for me to do their eyebrows. It's like, I love doing eyebrows and shaping them and giving little tips and tricks and whatnot. So we'll obviously go through that in the class as well. We'll do the eyebrows and I'll go in depth on how to, construct them and everything.
Because eyebrows are everything, right? Don't look
Yes.
at mine. I didn't do them today. But they are.
They are the face of the face, literally. They're what, makes your face look even and done and just beautiful. Sometimes you could even just do your eyebrows and your lashes and you're good to go. Like, you can go out anywhere. And lipstick, of course. You can never miss the lipstick. So I'm going to start on her. I'm going to comb them out first with, this is mascara for the eyebrows. You can use literally mascara for this, but, NYX came out with this cool thing. And I really like it. It's really neutral brown. And you could just, go into her eyebrows like this.
And that has color?
Yes, it does have color. It's a brown. There's some clear ones that you can use as well. Like, you'll probably, put on fill in the eyebrow first. And then you could go in with the actual clear one. But for her, since she's pretty much good to go already, I'm going to do this one that has color. And a little bit of, it tints the eyebrows. So I'm going to go in with this one, and then I'm just going to blend it out with a brush, an angled brush. That's usually what I do for, clients that already have really good eyebrows. If not, you can use a pomade. You can use a gel like this one. You can wet one of your eyeshadows if you don't. Remember, like I said, you improvise with what you have. So sometimes if I didn't replenish my kit and I only have powders, I'll go ahead and use the Fix Plus, which is this one. Or you can use a mixing medium. In the class, I will show you guys more about that. But Inglot has a really cool one that it's a waterproof mixing medium. You can get some that are not waterproof that are easier to take off. So this one, you could use a little drop on the powder and it'll turn into eyeliner or to do your eyebrows and all that.
So somebody who doesn't have as full or shaped of eyebrows as she does, you would not start with using that brow
No.
brush paint that you just that one.
No, not the tint. I wouldn't use that on her just because you want something more color. Since they're already really dark. So what you want to do is you just want to fill in the little holes that she has where she doesn't have hair because they're dark. So that's why I'm doing it that way. But if they don't have hair, some people only have it in the front.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to shape them first. And what I like to do is I shape them with gel first. And I'll teach you guys how to do beautiful eyebrows. It's like my favorite topic in the world. Yes.
One is, do you change or do you have change your makeup routine based on season? Like on summer days, there's more hot, so the clients are getting more sweaty. Or
Oh yeah, that's something you have to talk to your client about. This is why you do a consultation before you even start the makeup. I'm gonna teach you guys in the class how to do that, how to start your makeup, what you need to ask. just so that your job is easier and you know what to do, you know what to take out, you know what to use on her, how to use it. You already have in your mind how everything's gonna go, and it's gonna make it go way faster.
And on Halloween, how fun is your makeup? Like,
Girl, super fun. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, a lot of people, like some of my work, if you guys want to go check out my Instagram, I love doing Halloween makeup, especially the sugar skull. It's like every season, every year, it's super popular, and that's mainly what I get, the sugar skull, or a lot of gory makeup, you know, like prosthetics, things like that, you know, FX makeup. I've never really been on that side of the makeup world. I haven't even gone to school for it. I just kind of play with, you know, I go on YouTube, everybody goes on YouTube, you know, and you check out little videos on how to do it, but it's really fun. And I like challenges, like as a makeup artist, when my client they usually send me pictures, and they'll send me like, oh, this is what I want. So, you know, I'll practice on whoever, my sister, my brother, whoever lets themselves, I'll practice on them first. And then I'll go into it. Just because I'm not a professional FX makeup artist, so I'll do that. It's super fun. You could just do it for fun. Mm-hmm.
What's your Instagram?
It's at Makeup by Libby Lou 27. It's super long, huh? Okay, so let's finish our brow. Sometimes, because I can do literally like, by myself, I could do like 10 people of makeup. So how she asked earlier about the brushes, my makeup brushes will be really dirty at the end, and I have to be cleaning in between. So that's something really important to look out for, you know, and to really look into brush cleaners that are really good. I recommend the Cinema Secrets. It's like super good. It makes the brushes smell super, super good. So I'm just going to go in with this powder right here. It's called, I can't pronounce it.
Oh gosh.
Okay, it's brown. Okay?
It's just like brown, yeah.
It's brown. It's brown. Her hair is really light here, so just depending on what the client likes, if she likes dark eyebrows or if she just wants something exactly to her roots, you can either go darker or you can go lighter. Like, I have this one is really popular. Wedge. This is called Wedge. It's from MAC. So we'll do like that. And one of the tricks that I'll be showing you in the class is how to fade an eyebrow, because I don't know if you guys ever noticed that a lot of people tend to do their eyebrows at the front really boxy looking. That's so 90s. We don't do that anymore. So how to blend, how to create hair, what brushes you can use for that, what product you can use for that, little things like that. There's also a trend going on right now. I don't know if you guys have seen it with the waves. I'm like, yo, really?
No.
What else are they going to do? And then the one where the hair is standing, the caterpillar or something. I'm like, wow. So as you guys notice, I started at the ends of her eyebrows. That's what you always want to do, especially for the trends that are going on right now. You want to start at the end, the tail of the eyebrow, and then you're going to move forward. So don't ever put product in the front. You're just going to put it in the back and then work your way to the front. And then at a makeup counter, you're always going to have a mirror in front of them all the time, just so they can tell you if they like what you're doing. And you don't have to go back at the end, you know, and say like, she'll be like, oh, I didn't like this, I didn't like that. That's one of the good things about having a mirror in front of them. The bad thing is that they're going to be criticizing you throughout the whole process. What about this? Are you going to finish that? Don't you think that's too dark? Is that too red? Is that too brown? Like, they're going to be telling you the whole time. Don't get discouraged. It's just, you know, just be like, oh, no, don't worry. I got you, girl. Like, you know, say anything to make them feel comfortable because they get nervous sometimes. So, yeah, that's one of the eyebrows. Turn that. Pretty natural, huh? Just really simple and just fill in the little holes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do the other one super fast. Does anybody have any questions? No. Okay, I'm gonna assume I'm doing a good job. That's why nobody's asking questions.
Even without the eyes, just the face and the brows and the cheeks and lip, yeah, it looks very good.
Right? She looks really nice natural.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll want you to do their eyes, and one thing that you could do, eyeshadow will always fix a dull eye. You can use a darker shadow in the crease and then do the bottom part, and that will make it look more like, oh, she's wearing something, and it'll make her eyes bigger. Some people don't like that their eyes are super, chinky or like long, or like, you know what I'm saying? Or some people don't like they have really deep, big eyes. So there's little tricks that I'm going to teach in the class on how to do that, how to make an eye smaller, bigger, longer, wider, whatever. Make your job easier and make your client really happy. So, and then get them to come back. That's like my main thing. I always want them to come back and call me back and, refer me to other people. That's how I get a lot of my clients, through referrals and through my coworkers. Now that ever since I've been working at MAC, I've made so many more friends, and they help to get me clients. Like, let's say one of you guys, now that you guys know each other in school, you don't have your client wants you to do their makeup, but you don't have time, you're booked. So then you're going to call your artist friends, and you're going to tell them, like, hey, can you take my makeup? This is how much, Every artist charges different. So depending, your kit has value. I'm going to teach you guys all about that. Your hands have value, You have to charge for everything. Your cast, your time, your kit, everything that you have. You're like a walking, money maker.